Hello and welcome everybody to my most current show here on multiple platforms. We are running out live today on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. My name is Daniel Olexa. I'm the founder of Transcendent Living. And thank you for joining me here again in February. We are here every month doing this regular show. We're talking on various concepts of professional development, self development, corporate development, and just how to live a better life, live above and beyond. As I said, I'm the founder of Transcendent Living, and the definition of transcendent is to live above and beyond normal. The motto for my clients, motto for my business is that normal people do normal things, and you are better than that. So, if you would like to have a conversation about how to up level your life, go to the next level of achievement for yourself, feel free to reach out to me via email. It'll be running at the bottom of the screen. Would love to have that conversation with you to see how I can help you to transcend your current experience and honestly be better. Be better than everybody else around you. Okay, let's do this thing. Big part of that leveling up, that rising above, begins with self awareness. It's been said that awareness is the first thing required for any level of change because until you know there's a problem or have an awareness of what might be holding you back, you don't know what to do. So today is going to be about self awareness more than just awareness, because we can also be aware of things externally. How we feel about them doesn't matter because most of them are out of our control. What matters is about how we feel and what is the story that we are telling ourselves about those things. So everything begins inside. And as I was, you know, doom surfing on LinkedIn this morning, having my coffee and just kind of coming into the day, waking up, I bumped into a post. I wish I could find it again to give credit to the person who posted it, but it's a relatively common theme, particularly in development circles. The idea of, are you a fountain or a drain? Do you give to others or do you drain from others? Um, it's been said lots of different ways. I think it was Deion Sanders' wife many years ago. I heard that she had the quote, um, "If it isn't multiplying and adding to your life, it's dividing and subtracting." That essentially we live in a bit of a zero sum. There are those who will support you and help you rise up. There are those who will intentionally or not diminish you and drain your energy. And you all know, you have all experienced both sides of it. Those who care about you and love you and help you, and those who just seem to pull your energy down or distract you from your goals and put their goals into a more important position. Again, the external, those around us, and you certainly want to align to those who are fountains for yourself. But let's now really dive into it as the concept of the internal world of self, and maybe selves plural. Most likely have heard about imposter syndrome, that voice that lives in our head that sounds a lot like us, that judges us, tells us we're horrible, tells us we're not deserving, we're not doing well enough, and really loves to pick us apart. And now, my big question for you is, when it comes to yourself, are you a fountain or a drain? And I'm going to leave that sit for it to really sink in. When you think about yourself, are you a fountain or are you a drain? What things do you tend to say to yourself when you are particularly taking new actions and taking a risk? Do you beat yourself up, tell yourself you're not good enough, or use other judgmental words, telling yourself you're stupid or whatever comes to mind because you didn't get it right the first time? That's nonsense too. There's no such thing as getting, well, you could get lucky and get it right the first time. Particularly when we're in a space of learning, it is really cruel to put ourselves in a self-judgmental place of telling ourselves we're not good enough because we didn't get it right the first time. If you are not taking risks, the actually, I'll say it this way. The best way that you can show me that you are not taking a risk is to not fail. Because if you're not failing, you're not stepping outside of your comfort zone. Now, how do we embrace that? How do we recognize that in that space of perceiving to fail, it's actually a learning opportunity? That's where the other self comes in. The self that sits more down in our core, that is much wiser than this thing in our head. This is just a learned voice from everybody else, from family, from friends, from the systems around us in the culture and around the world, that give us an external lens to how we think we should be appearing, what we think we should be doing. It's all operational intelligence, and it gets in the way of our much deeper inner wisdom and knowing that comes from when we drop into a flow state. This sense of self is much calmer and will come forward if you meditate regularly. You are familiar with coming into this state of being, or even if you can find yourself in a space of quiet where you can really be with your thoughts and let this churn up here slow down. It's very much a key part of what I do when I'm working with a client as a hypnotherapist, to slow down this churn so the deeper inner wisdom can come forward without having to fight its way through a filter. When you can become that friend, or when you can tune in to that friendly part of self, the one that knows already, the one that is your core wisdom, that's beyond just learned intelligence, but is a deep, deep, deep inner knowing and wisdom. Now you can tune into being a fountain for yourself, because this voice doesn't come from judgment. This experience doesn't come from looking down. This is the self that's calling you forward to live the dream, to have the dream. It's helping you craft the dream versus the one that tells you you're not good enough to achieve it. Which one's telling you the truth? The one that tells you you can, the one that's in here. So be a fountain for yourself. A couple suggestions to do. I've already mentioned meditation. I've already mentioned hypnotherapy. If you want to go to the level of really having someone else facilitate with you to quiet this churn and change that internal dialogue. But even just taking a few moments a day to sit in a peaceful space and allow yourself to go into a blank state, as you were. I love the work of Shirzad Shamin, who wrote the book Positive Intelligence. He has a number of cues, either kinesthetic, visual, or auditory, to help you slightly overwhelm and focus this learned intelligence so that it quiets down a little bit. Also reminded here of the work of Timothy Galway in his book, The Inner Game, which he talks very much about these two selves, and how when we go into just observing without judgment, that deeper self comes forward that just knows what to do and can play and be in flow. But to do that, we need to overwhelm our thinking. We need to focus it on something else so the deeper inner wisdom can come forward. I invite you to take the time in the next day, the next week, the next month, over the course of the year. If you notice yourself in this overwhelm, ask yourself, are you being a drain? And how is this creating the drain that you experience at the end of a stressful day? Take moments there to tap back into this sense of self that lives in your core, lives in your heart, lives in your gut, that knows much better than this thing up here. Embrace that. Bring it forward. You'll find a new, improved sense of calm. You'll find new solutions to moving forward. You will find responses to your problems, the problems that this is creating. As Einstein said, the same level of thinking that created a problem will not solve it. This cannot solve its own problems. This can. This can help you overcome the problems created up here in the narrative of life that is the limited, diminishing sense of self. So, with that, let's close out today. I look forward to hearing from you. Please reach out via email, daniel@transcendentliving.com. Let's have a conversation, see how I can help you overcome the, the thoughts in your head that are holding you back from living that transcendent higher lifestyle. Because I said, ordinary people do ordinary things. You are better than that. Let's get you there. See you next month.